And welcome back. You're listening to the Arvo Flow Sports Hour here on Flow FM. It's time to get into our football chat for the week. We're talking English Premier League with our round ball expert, Johnny Moore, beaming in from London. Great to be with you again, Johnny. How are you getting on?
Yeah, thanks, Alice. I'm going well here. Another exciting, jam-packed weekend of the EPL fixtures. So looking forward to unwrap with yourself and all the listeners out there.
Yeah, most definitely, Johnny. And I really don't know where to start because there were just so many twists and turns on the weekend just gone, as you've said there. But I guess we best start with Arsenal because they do lead the chasing pack. They're top of the table. And, well, it was an absolutely heart-stopping performance for all Gunners fans watching Arsenal play Aston Villa at Aston Villa. Arsenal coming off the back of that disappointing loss to Manchetser City, which could still prove pivotal, but they had to rely on a pretty late show here, Johnny, to make sure of a vital 3 points against Aston Villa, who started off quite well, and they looked to be on their way after Felipe Coutinho's goal in the middle of the second half. But in the end, Arsenal exploded, and they got a massively emotive 3 points, I think we can say.
Yeah, most definitely. A huge 3 points there, especially, like you said, bouncing back after the Man City defeat. That obviously leaves them still 2 points clear with a game in hand over City at the top of the ladder. So, yeah, a really strong performance, especially in those last final minutes of the game. Obviously, the final goal was pretty much a counter-attack from Villa's corner, trying to get the equaliser late in stoppage time there, and Martinelli ran clear and tapped home to an empty net. But realistically, it was a really entertaining game for all the neutral fans and probably the supporters of both sides. Villa went head to toe with Arsenal for pretty much most of the majority of the game, and was really entertaining. So, but credit to the Gunners. They're looking still sharp, and I think it's going to go down to the wire, which is going to be really interesting for all those fans out there to just see who's going to take that title home. I'm not sure where I would probably be thinking the favourites are, because even Man United's form, they're going to be knocking on the door soon, I reckon.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there, Johnny. It's a hard one to pick right now in terms of, which side is really going to come out and challenge Arsenal, put pressure on, aside from Manchetser City. One side that definitely won't be on this trajectory is Chelsea, losing at home to Southampton. Ricky Lambert's Saints. He made sure we were all aware of the result in the office here, Johnny. A Ward-Prowse free kick, and I believe, looking at stats, it puts him into, I think, second or third all-time free kick goal scorer in Premier League history, which is pretty staggering, but he's a very talented player, and he played his part in Southampton's win, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, the Saints, fantastic win. 3 points on the road against a Chelsea side that seems to be struggling, especially in front of goals. They're just really firing blanks, and they've got lots of attacking threat to rely upon, but look, they're just not putting the ball in the back of the net, and there's only so much you can defend, and probably obviously not taking your chances. It just allows the opposition one sort of chance, and we'll probably cover some of the other fixtures because that was the case in a few of the others, but take nothing away from the Saints. They defended really well. The amount of blocks that they got on the line, or just when Chelsea were taking shots, was unbelievable, but they can't defend like that for the whole of the rest of the season, because they'll definitely won't pick up too many more wins. But look, like you mentioned, Ward-Prowse free kick was quality, up and over the wall. He's a master of free kicks, and look, like I said, he's coming ever closer to being top of the all-time goal scorers for free kicks, so credit to him. But the Saints still find themselves at the bottom of the ladder, so even with that 3 points, there's still 1 point drift of leads. And the interim manager's got a lot of work to get themselves out of that relegation battle, but good luck to them. But look, there's lots and lots of pressure on Potter at Chelsea there, so look, if they have another couple of defeats, it won't be surprised if they have another managerial change this season.
Well, it was interesting to note between Tottenham and West Ham, both managers under different kinds of pressure. Antonio Conte, in many people's eyes, underachieving at Tottenham, and David Moyes, well, The West Ham team is very dangerously placed on the table right now in the relegation zone. In the end, Tottenham too strong, a 2-0 win, Johnny, and this piles the pressure right on David Moyes, who says he's no stranger to it, but you don't see him surviving this really, do you, Johnny?
Yeah, well, this is going to be a difficult one for Moyes to come out. He's found himself in these positions probably before. And look, there is quality there at West Ham. And they've got some good players, but once again, it's about converting your chances. But they didn't have enough chances, unlike the Chelsea, like I spoke about just previously. West Ham didn't create much. Bowen had a couple of chances, but apart from that, they looked really lacklustre in that final third, and their creativity in the midfield areas wasn't really there. But the first half, they probably were very even. Second half, I thought Spurs outplayed them and looked a far better side. So yeah, West Ham in that relegation fight as well, they're going to struggle. There's a blanket that covers probably 4 points from those bottom 6 sides. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And like I said, the top end of the table is heating up quite nicely. But once again, at the bottom, you can't take your eyes off there. Spurs, on the other hand, great 3 points to leapfrog Newcastle, who didn't get the win, and they sit nicely in 4th. But I think there's lots of football still to play, and as a Spurs fan, I'd love them to finish 4th, but I just don't think they've got the killer instinct and the consistency. They seem to be yo-yoing an excellent win against Man City, and they go and throw points away at Leicester, and then they bounce back and get points. You can't be doing that to finish 4th on the ladder. And actually, I think they're set up. They're too defensive minded. The first half, like I said, they were really poor, but the second half they definitely picked up. But let's hopefully they can get a few more wins and a bit more consistency for their form.
Well, you mentioned Newcastle just before there. They very much surprised in their game, losing to Liverpool. Liverpool have been in such horrendous form, of course, and this game being played at St James Park in Newcastle, resulting in Liverpool getting 3 points, and Newcastle didn't do themselves any favour with a first half red card, Johnny. That never helps.
No, definitely not. I mean, before then, Liverpool in total control of the game. Some of the actual free-flowing football, the creativity of the one-touch passes and the link-up play for the goals. Liverpool scored were fantastic. I thought they're really starting to just pick up their form, and it's no surprise a clean sheet coincides with the return of Van Dijk to the starting lineup. He's obviously a class act, and if he can keep in that starting 11, I'm sure Liverpool will pick up a lot more 3 points and start climbing that ladder. Newcastle, on the other hand, disappointed with them because they've actually had some really good form of late, and especially at home. I'm sure the Geordie fans won't look watching that one back, and actually performed better when they went down to Town when Pope had come out and made a very probably poor decision when he misjudged the ball and handled the ball to try and keep it within his grasp. But sometimes Russian blood to the head, as they say. But yeah, look, the Anfield faithful, they're looking a lot stronger these days, and I'm sure yourself, you'll be pleasantly surprised with how the way the team's sort of coming together, and a lot more players coming back from injury now.
Well, don't speak too soon, as they say, Johnny. Now, the last game we'll speak about is Manchester City. They were shocked on their travels. Nottingham Forest pulling out a really, really, really important point for them, obviously, with how they're placed. But this game could have a lot of ramifications as far as the title race goes, because no one would have foreseen Manchester City struggling to beat Nottingham Forest, Johnny.
Yeah, most definitely. Look, City fans out there will be putting their hair out, as I like to say, because it was a frustrating afternoon. Look, Forest defended well, but it was more the poor or the lack of finishing, especially from the class. I say the whole squad of Man City. Haaland, I would say, missed a real sitter. He would normally take chances away. De Bruyne had a couple of chances. I mean, the strike from Silva to score the first goal and taking it to lead was a cracker, a nice sort of driven thunderbolt into the roof of the net. But after that, Man City just had chance after chance after chance. And you always feel 1-0 isn't always a scoreline you can just relax and hold out for sometimes 90 minutes. And it proved very costly with Forest taking a point out of this game. And look, that goes a long way for them to really sort of keep in that sort of mid-table and out of that relegation zone at the moment, but they've still got a lot of work to do. But yeah, Man City throwing away 2 points there, in my opinion, and yeah, they're going to find it difficult, especially if Arsenal win their game in hand. It'll push them 5 points behind them, but obviously there's still plenty of points to be had. So yeah, but all that hard work of beating Arsenal in the previous fixture has sort of gone out a little bit out the window now. But yeah, I think it's back to the sort of drawing board, and hopefully they'll get 3 points, and I'm sure they will because they're a class act, Man City.
All right, Johnny. Well, let's take a look ahead at things with how the table looks, and I want to get some early calls from you now. Who wins the Premier League? Who makes it into that third and fourth place, which are ever so important, of course? Liverpool and Chelsea, can they do it? The two outsiders at this rate, you wouldn't think that they are, but with the way things have gone, they're a good, 3 wins or so from being in that third and fourth place. So very interesting to see. And who gets relegated, in your view?
Oh, lots of things to unravel here. I mean, I was probably struggling this weekend with probably tipping all the fixtures here, so I'll give you my rundown of where I think they're going to the top of the ladder and the foot of the ladder. But I'm sure not many of them are probably going to be 100% here. But look, I actually think Man City, just with their squad depth, I'm sure they'll come good. I mean, taking nothing away from Arsenal, they seem to like they're in a really good position. But I'm going to nip Man City to leapfrog Arsenal and take them for the title. I think Arsenal are still in a really good position. I think they'll finish second. I think Man United are going to go really close, but I think they're going to finish third as they are now. Fourth, I think is going to go wide open. I'm actually going to throw Liverpool in there. I don't think Spurs' form is consistent enough. I think Liverpool sort of pick up, although Newcastle and Brighton and many other teams, even Fulham, could surprise and get in there, but I'll put Liverpool in there as a fourth. At the bottom end of the ladder, I think the Saints are going to struggle to get out of that, but hopefully they prove me wrong like all these other teams that I'm predicting here. I think Everton just have enough to get out of that. I'm probably actually going to leave it as it is, the bottom three in there as Leeds and West Ham to go down. I think Bournemouth might just sneak out of there, but as it is now, I think it's probably as it is for the bottom three. But I think that's going to be that's probably a harder one to call the relegation than the top end of the ladder. But who knows? Maybe I should ask you what you think as well, and see how opposite or how similar we are.
No, don't turn things on me, Johnny. But one thing I will say is that Ricky Lambert won't be chuffed with your predictions there. Southampton look like they'll be playing championship football next season. Of course, they have ridded themselves of their manager now, and one win after doing so. So you never know. Could be a slightly more positive outlook for them.
Yeah, hopefully it's more positive outlook. Hopefully it's not championship football, and hopefully it's next season it's Champions League football. Maybe I'll like that comment from me.
There we go. Well, Johnny Moore, that's where we'll leave it. That's Johnny Moore, our football expert from London. Take care of yourself, Johnny. We'll do it all again in a week's time.
All the best, Ellis, and all the listeners out there. Thanks again, and another segment where I thoroughly enjoyed to analyse.
That is Johnny Moore, our football expert here on Fly FM, coming to us from one of the football capitals in London. Well, coming up after this, we'll be talking with Tracy Lawson from the Northwest Express. We're going to get an update on all things Oyen Sport from Northwest Victoria. That is coming your way real soon. Stay tuned. It is the Arvo Flow Sports Hour.